to Why I Don't Date These Guys with Naomi and Joel Guy. I no longer let Joel introduce himself because he always makes fun of me for not getting to the main point of what we're here today to talk about. So this is Why I Don't Date These Guys. And we talk on this podcast about dating, sex, and relationships. Joel, what are we trying today?
We are trying the Trader Joe's sweet tea, chilled rapidly with a little bit of ice. It's close to what I would consider good sweet tea. It's not horribly sweet, but it's too sweet, if that makes any sense.
Do you know my favorite peace tea? My favorite iced tea is actually not peace tea. It's Milo's iced tea. It's very good. It's only sold at Walmart, though.
This would be better with more lemon. There's a hint of lemon in it, not enough. But then there's also like a caramelly flavor. You know what I'm saying?
We're waiting for the lemon to kick in.
We are waiting for the lemon to kick in. Thank you, Naomi. It's passable. I'd probably water it down if I get another glass of it. Yeah, it's not the worst thing I've had. It'd be good with lemonade, a nice tart lemonade. Make some Arnold Palmies.
You know how we were referencing like what people say in the comments of the YouTube trailer in the last episode that we did? Joel's YouTube trailer comment would be, "It's passing."
It's passing. I don't think I say it that often, but sure, we can go with that. So, Naomi, I wanted to do an episode today that actually gets to the original premise of our show, which was a dating podcast. And I think one thing that we've never really discussed in detail is how do you actually go out and date people in the area in which we live? Now, this is advice that is mostly going to be applicable for the Phoenix area.
Yes.
But we came up with a long list of things you can do in the Phoenix area, activities in specific places. And really, regardless of where you live, there should be very similar activities and places to go. So Phoenix just happens to be very, very big and spread out. And so there's a lot of stuff going on. Very little of it, I think, the average person knows about. And so we felt it was important to give people some ideas about where to go on dates. Now, the question, Naomi, I think that people are immediately going to raise is, why would you go out on dates with people? Especially people you've been dating for a while.
Well, it's no longer cuffing season. It's stay inside all day season. Hi, welcome to Arizona. We live in 100-degree weather, but for some reason, people still want to live here. Why would we want to go on dates? Well, we want to get out of the house. We want to be in air conditioning. Hopefully, we want to be in air conditioning during the summer. Forced conversation. You have to talk to your partner if you're in the car with them or at dinner with them. You can't just sit there in silence because then people will judge you. I actually was out to dinner
That's the big reason you want to bond with your partner,
yeah.
so people don't judge you.
Yeah. So I was actually out to dinner a couple weeks ago with my boyfriend, and we were sitting there in silence, and everyone around us was probably looking at us like, what the fuck, are they fighting or something? But no, we were just really engrossed in eavesdropping on the conversation right next to us at the table because they were like having a fight. Like they were like fighting, and we were just so engrossed.
Jennifer, I told you we're not having a third child. 2 is enough. 2 is enough, Roderick. You barely look at your kids, Roderick. I can't believe you, Roderick. Roderick, do you even know the name of your son? Roderick, tell me the name of your son right now. Jennifer, we've been over this before. Just because I don't know the names of my children doesn't make me a bad father.
Yeah, that's basically how it went. You grow as people. You learn more about them, like your partner. You can learn more about yourself.
Yeah.
Your likes, your dislikes, their dislikes. Do you want to spend more money than them? Can you tolerate spending lots of time with them? Obviously, these are things you should probably figure out before you start dating them.
No. I think this is an ongoing process. You do not immediately capture a good image of a person when you go out with them on a first date. And some of these could be first date ideas, though some of them seem highly elaborate and or places you would take someone to murder them if it was a first date and you were a sociopath. So it's definitely opportunities that you should take up when you know someone and feel comfortable with them. But yeah, I think love is an emotion that people don't like to talk about in terms of fading, but I do think that's something that it can do at times, right? When you first encounter somebody, you're on your best behavior, you're attempting to be your best self, you're trying to appear interesting and engrossing, so it's likely that you're going to do stuff you don't normally do. in an effort to be, more attractive. And I think over time, as you grow more comfortable with your partner, you realize a lot of that isn't necessary, and you think you can kind of push back on that. And to an extent, you can, I think, as you become more comfortable. And it's totally possible your partner, is more than happy just spending time with you and spending time indoors, not going out. But I think it's also important to keep that romance alive and keep surprising them and doing exciting things with them and, taking the opportunity you have to spend time with them in a wide variety of settings. I think if you enjoy spending time with them in one setting, you're probably going to enjoy spending time with them in another. But alternatively, you might find out, oh my God, they're horrible to service staff. Oh my God, they hate nature, and nature is really important to me.
They're bad
I enjoy going
tippers.
hiking. They're really bad tippers. Maybe, we enjoy game nights, but not, specific games. And so, it's building a more complete portrait of a person of whether or not you want to spend more time with them. And I think that's a really important part of the dating process, regardless of where you are in your relationship.
I think that one piece of advice that we should give right before we start this episode is, because we're doing this episode based around Phoenix places to date. Joel, would you like to give one piece of advice?
Stay indoors. Like you can go outside year round, but if you're going on some of the hikes we recommend, you need to leave at 5 o'clock in the morning.
And you need to bring water.
You need to be done with your hike at like 9 or 10 o'clock at the latest, right? You need to bring 3 times, 5 times as much water as you think you do. Pack in terms of gallons, not in terms of ounces.
And if needed, bring a donkey that carries extra water.
Bring a burro.
Yeah.
Burros are important in this area. But yeah, like
Burritos
hikes
are
are
good.
great. Hikes are wonderful in winter, but hikes can also be dangerous. And a not insignificant number of people get hospitalized due to heat stress in Arizona each year. Pack lots of water. Bring a big floppy hat that covers your face, keeps you in shade. Wear loose-fitting clothing that can get lots of air through it. Make sure you have sunblock, sunscreen. Make sure you tell people where you're going and when you're going to be back. Otherwise, it could be a much longer hike than you anticipated.
And on that note, let's talk about what our outdoor ideas are.
So my top one, Naomi, and this is not as accessible as some of the others, but I think it's the thing that you bring your significant other to if you want to razzle and dazzle them, and that is going to Sedona for a day trip.
Okay. When was the last time you were in Sedona?
2 years ago. A year and a half ago.
Oh, that was with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
my
was
significant
fun.
other, my sister.
Yeah. No, yeah.
So Sedona, if people are unaware, is north of Phoenix. It's maybe an hour and a half drive away from Phoenix.
Yeah.
It's pretty close in terms of things to do in the state, and it is chef's kiss.
It is beautiful. Yeah, and it's not just like they've kind of made it into a tourist trap, but you can kind of exit the city proper, and there's a lot of hiking experiences that you can have. So if you're like more of an outdoorsy person and not more of like a touristy trap person, I would suggest there's a lot of beautiful hikes there. They vary in distance as well. So if you're not a big hiker, you can do like a shorter hike. There's long distance hikes. There's like, you can go
Some
to like,
good for children.
yeah, there's some that like you can climb up onto the Red Rocks as well. It's a beautiful experience. It's usually pretty nice year round. I think the hottest it got, like I went last summer, so maybe it was like 90 degrees, I think, but that's like pretty good considering the rest of Arizona is like 120.
Yeah, it's higher in elevation than the Phoenix area, so it's cooler year round. It has this crazy thing like running water. There's a big creek.
That's wild.
Yeah, you can go splash around in
Yeah.
and have fun in. But yeah, it's really an unrecognized gym to outsiders. I think a lot of people don't understand like how cool Sedona is. It's just beautiful red rocks, trees, and untapped wilderness for miles around. And it's one of my favorite parts of Arizona.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. I would say that also if you're like a spiritual person, they have like certain beliefs about like Sedona and surrounding Sedona that there's certain portals or things. So it's just a cool thing to do even if you aren't into hiking. It's beautiful sights. They have great food there as well, and you can go and explore the spiritual side of things.
Oh, well, there's the tourist trappy place you mentioned, which honestly is kind of fun to wander around, at least the first time. There's a lot of like weird shops selling all sorts of stuff.
There's a
things,
place that just
crystals.
does chai tea.
Just does chai tea. There's a big outdoor artist area. I forget what it's called near the entrance of town.
It's called the Outdoor Artist Area.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. It was more obvious than I thought. One of my favorite places, and this was back when I was still eating meat, was this sort of like rustic themed restaurant called, I believe, the Cowboy Corner or the Cowboy Grill.
Okay.
But they have a menu item which is called like the Southwest Sampler, and they give you rattlesnake sausage and buffalo meatballs and cactus fries and a variety of other like Southwestern, very unique flavors. And not all of them are enjoyable, but it's fun to at least be like, I had scorpion gravy.
Joel was asking me like, what's like an Arizona like restaurant that you should take people from out of town for before we start this episode. I think that one. Make the drive. Go get the Southwest Sampler. So our next suggestion is Desert Botanical Garden. Joel was actually there recently, and he visited the restaurant that's inside Desert Botanical Garden called Gertrude's. What would you say about Gertrude's?
Gertrude's was good. We only had a couple menu items. We were there for brunch. But the thing I would recommend, and let's just talk about Desert Botanical Gardens. It's in the middle of the Phoenix area.
Yeah.
It's this beautiful garden capturing all variety of plants from around the Southwest and actually around the world. They've imported a variety of species. But it's a great place to just walk around and be, amazed by what's going on. And they have some historical stuff, too, talking about how Native Americans used to live here. But Gertrude's, and I didn't know this until recently, allows you to take drinks outside into the garden.
He's talking alcoholic beverages.
Well, both alcoholic beverages, and you can typically order alcoholic beverages from a variety of stands year-round, but also they have this amazing dragon fruit prickly pear limeade. It's a slushie you can get from them. And you can order one of those and then walk out in the garden, and I can imagine nothing more refreshing on a Arizona day. But incredible nature, well-manicured place, lots of history, lots of fun facts about plants. Like, they'll finally tell you what a cactus actually is and how it distinguishes itself from other plants.
I never really, think about what a cactus actually is. I just see them.
Mm-hmm.
Our next suggestion is Boyce Thompson Arboretum. Joel was also there recently. You've been in nature a lot recently.
I know. I'm really touching grass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Boyce Thompson Arboretum is a bit further of a drive. It is far east in the Phoenix area.
It's near, not Florence, but Superior.
Superior.
There we go.
Yeah. So you need to go super far east, through Mesa, through Apache Junction. You're going to be driving for probably an hour or more.
There's not any good restaurants around there. I think the only restaurant within, a safe distance of the Arboretum is this, really crappy diner that only serves, really crappy diner food. So pack a lunch.
I will say this, we're going to recommend this later in the list. It is on the same path to the Renaissance Festival. So maybe you want to do a double-day trip at some point.
A double-day trip.
Yeah. But Boyce Thompson Arboretum is another wonderful outdoor walking arboretum filled with a wide variety of plants. It's much more natural and less kind of manicured than Desert Botanical is, and it has a lot more room to wander with. And then Queen Creek, which the town of Queen Creek is named after, actually runs through the south side of the arboretum. So that's kind of fun, but it's very cool year-round. It's up in the mountains, so you're shaded constantly, and there's a lot of really fun nature to see and enjoy.
It's very beautiful, yeah.
It's very pretty. My significant other, Lauren, was very enamored with Desert Botanical Gardens. It had been several times before I went with her, and then I took her to Boyce Thompson, and she's like, oh, this just blows it out of the water.
Next suggestion is Hole in the Rock. Joel, you've also been there recently.
Look, maybe I was inspired by all the stuff I've done. Naomi, have you ever been to Hole in the Rock?
I have, yes.
Okay.
We went together.
How long ago was this?
Literally last year when we were starting our podcast.
I nearly died on Hole in the Rock.
When?
In the early 2000s, our family had a German exchange student.
Yes.
We had a German exchange picnic
Yes.
in the Phoenix desert area near Hole in the Rock. And so we had a pavilion, and there was an opportunity for people to wander around as all the food was cooking. And I went up to Hole in the Rock with some of the other German guys. Well, at some point, they all turned around, and I didn't realize this. I was, hanging around, and I was like, oh my God, where'd everyone go? And I saw them wandering down away from Hole in the Rock. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just take a shortcut down in order to get there. And as Hole in the Rock kind of slopes down, you think, oh, I can just take this gentle slope. No, there's a drop of about 20 feet once you get to the end of the slope at the main Hole in the Rock part. And so I fell down there. And I was like, didn't break anything. I'm invincible because I was a dumb 14-year-old. But yeah.
How did you break an arm falling off the monkey bars, but you didn't break an arm falling 20 feet?
Great question. Anyways, Hole in the Rock. It is near the Phoenix Zoo. It is in the middle of the Phoenix area. It is a big hole in a natural rock face. And when you climb up to it, it's like a 1/10 of a mile hike. It's nothing. You see the vast majority of the Phoenix area framed by this natural rock face. It's very pretty. It's very scenic. It overlooks the zoo. It overlooks most of downtown Phoenix. If you want to take an outside visitor, someone who's never been to Arizona someplace, Hole in the Rock is a great place to be. But it also shows off the rest of the Papago Park area, which is a bunch of natural hiking trails in the area. I would strongly recommend Hole in the Rock for like a nice jaunt. There's plenty of nice restaurants and other things to do in the area, so you can do it as part of other stuff during a day. But yeah, it's a fun part of the Phoenix area, and not enough people, I think, know that they can touch grass, so to speak, even though there's no grass in the area.
Our next suggestion is South Mountain. I used to hike there a lot last year, and I kind of got to the point where I just had seen enough of South Mountain. You kind of have to swerve around mountain bikes. They'll come up behind you, and if you're wearing headphones, it's really, really scary because they'll just zoom past you, and you're just like, oh my God. So there's a lot of people that free climb as well on South Mountain. It's beautiful. It overlooks the city. There's a lot of different hikes. I think it's like the largest national...
largest city park.
Yeah.
I think in the middle of like a metropolitan
Yeah.
area. And it will be the middle soon enough once they
Yeah.
fill into the west of
Fill
South
into
Mountain.
Levine, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very large mountain. It I think is like 30 miles or more in circumference.
Yeah, it's huge.
But there's a lot of hiking trails, and there's a lot of like specialized trails that are good for kids, that are good for advanced hikers, good for biking. There's a couple of cool like valleys and passes that we went to when we were younger. We had a family friend who was notorious for taking us on hikes and then under promising how long the hikes were.
We'd be like 30 miles in. She'd be like, oh, just a little bit longer. And like 30 miles later, we're like, where are we?
No, more realistically, she'd be like, oh, it's just a 3-mile hike. And it would be, no joke, an 8-mile hike. And she really couldn't tell the difference.
And we had such small legs at the time.
This is true. But, you know, Naomi, after watching that Netflix show, The Young Children Accomplishing Daily Tasks, I feel that I was spoiled as a child. Like, if a 2-year-old, and 8-month child can carry a 3-kilogram container of milk home from the grocery store uphill, I feel me as an 8-year-old should have been a lot more energetic and accepting of.
I feel like this show that you're describing is just like remaking what our parents describe. Oh, you're complaining that you have to walk to school? Well, I used to walk to school uphill both ways, in the rain, in the snow. No heat, no
I was
electricity.
joking with Lauren about this because you watch the show and it's young children being filmed doing like basic household tasks out in the community, and there's typically a lot of community members watching them do this as like the cameramen are recording. And I can imagine like a bunch of older Japanese people turning to each other and being like, you know, back in my day when I was 1.5 years old, my mother would send me out for basic errands. But yeah, South Mountain is great. It is a wonderful hiking spot. We would strongly recommend South Mountain. Again, pack water, probably pack boots. There's a lot of gravel and there's scorpions and other wildlife. It is much more of wilderness than other hiking areas in the Phoenix area.
Yeah.
But there is another place that we greatly enjoy, and that is Camelback Mountain. Naomi.
We used to hike a lot on Camelback Mountain. Our mom would take us to Camelback Mountain a lot. So there's like shorter trails and then there's longer trails. So Echo Canyon is a longer trail and you go literally straight up at some points. Like you have to hold onto a railing because you're not walking vertically.
Yeah, that's the west side of Camelback. Don't do that as a beginner. It's like a black diamond ski slope.
Yeah, and if you do decide that you're going to do that, water. Yeah. Water, hat, electrolytes, not just water. Because there's people that we know that have had too much water at one point and not enough salt because they're like, oh, I just need to hydrate. I don't need to like put electrolytes into my body. And they'll like be sent to the hospital because of it.
Yeah, and keep in mind that it's up on a mountain, so you're basically exposed to sun the entire time. So start early in the morning.
Yeah, but there's not trees out here, bud.
Yeah, it's an incredible view of the Phoenix area. Hole in the Rock is good for like kind of getting a perspective on downtown Phoenix, but you will see everything and anything on top of Camelback.
Yeah.
It is the highest point in the Phoenix area. It really stands out kind of regardless of where you are in the Phoenix area. But yeah, it's accessible. It's something that everybody should do at some point. Just make sure you do it safely.
And then we have the Superstitions as our last like hike recommendation. We've been there a couple times. There isn't the Superstitions the one with the Lost Dutchman?
Yes.
Myth?
Yeah.
We went there. There's a myth that some old guy left money in the mountains. So there's at least a couple people every year that go looking for it, and sometimes people die doing it. So that's fun. No one really knows if it's actually up there, but there is some other attractions over near the Superstitions. The Salt River goes through there. There's a lot of like tubing experiences that you can do. which you can do longer tubing experiences or you can do shorter. A little bit further down past the rapids in the Salt River, you can just go and like wade through water and go fishing. There's some people that just sit out there and fish, but you do need a permit to park. So keep that in mind. You can just go to like a regular Circle K and get a permit. But for like the day, I think it's like $15 or something. But yeah, a lot of people really enjoy the Salt River. But the thing is that even people that I know that don't usually get sunburned always get sunburnt on doing the Salt River excursion. So you need to cover up. You need to continuously apply sunscreen. Then our next suggestion is Tempe Town Lake. You cannot get into Tempe Town Lake and swim. I actually had a friend, freshman year of college. Her friend from Colorado came out. And they went, what do you call it, paddleboarding on Tempe Town Lake. And they were, like, getting in. And somebody, like, went past them. I think it was, like, somebody just watching the lake. And they were like, what the fuck are you doing? And they're like, well, we're getting in. And they're like, you don't do that here. They're like, we do that all the time in Colorado.
Mark Twain had a joke about the Mississippi River. He's like, it's too thick to drink and too thin to plow on. That's kind of Tempe Town Lake. But there's also a lot of weird bacteria, and they get algae blooms every so often. And every time they drain it, they find more dead bodies than they would have liked to find. It's a fun attraction.
But still, every year they do an Ironman in Tempe Town Lake, so it's got to be good for something.
But yeah, Tempe Town Lake, a lot of fun bridges, a lot of stuff to do around it. They've really built it up so you can get to downtown Tempe and walk up and down Mill Avenue. And there's a lot of restaurants, a lot of like
really pretty bridges. So if you're into like night walks, there's like a beautiful bridge.
You can bike along the entire distance for quite a while too.
Yeah.
The other
you can also rent scooters.
They got paddle boards. They have little boats you can purchase that are way too much. They got pedal boats. They got swan boats. There's a wide variety of activities.
I think they just did something. I don't know how true this is. This might have just been like they just rented a boat and put alcohol on it, but I'm pretty sure they do like alcoholic boats now. Like those like those pedal beer things that they do in
There's
cities.
a bar in the middle and you bike.
Yeah.
And then I think our friend Giselle is taking a rowing class on Tempe Town Lake too. So.
Yeah, there is a lot of like rowing, like schools that have rowing teams practice on Tempe Town Lake.
The nice thing about it is it's one of the only sources of like large amounts of fresh water in the valley. It's accessible. You don't have to drive out of town to get to it. And then it also is cooler due to evaporative cooling.
Yes.
It's like 10 degrees cooler than the surrounding areas.
Yes.
Another outdoor water feature that Naomi probably has forgotten about, but I remember distinctly, is the Gilbert Riparian Preserve. We used to live in Gilbert, Arizona. Near us, a couple miles away, there was a very large, very nice library, and then next to that was the Riparian Preserve. And the Riparian Preserve is this large outdoor aquatic area. I don't know if the water circulating through it is meant to be filtered by it, or it's just like an outdoor decorative feature, but all variety of birds flock to that area year-round. You have hundreds, if not thousands, of birds there pretty much any time you attend. And there's a lot of outdoor bridges and walking paths around it, so you can, similar to the lake, wander around and do stuff. I did check on it recently. There's not a lot going on nearby. The closest kind of attraction is downtown Gilbert, which is not that close. And then a bunch of like urologist clinics. That's Gilbert for you. It's all subdivisions and doctor's offices. But that Riparian Preserve, very, very nice to walk around in.
Another thing that we would like to mention is farmers markets. There's a few good ones. There's a few small ones. I would personally recommend Phoenix and Scottsdale farmers markets. I feel like they're more established than some of the smaller ones. I know that Tempe farmers market is kind of small. Ahwatukee farmers market is also kind of small. So maybe figure out one, Scottsdale or Phoenix.
The downtown one is moving. I don't know the new location. It's no longer in downtown Phoenix. And that was part of the attraction because you could attend the farmer's market and then there was a lot to like see and do in the area.
Yeah.
But the Scottsdale one's nice because it's on the top level of a parking garage in Scottsdale, and you're immediately next to downtown Scottsdale. And I don't find downtown Scottsdale that compelling, but there is some nice dining. There's some nice outdoor art features. There's a couple museums in the area. It's very Disney-ified, but it's worth seeing at least once or twice. And the farmer's market, I think, is a good opportunity to do that. One that doesn't really have anything going on in the area, but is very big, is the Uptown Farmers Market. I think that's in Arcadia, which is kind of North Phoenix. And It has typically 150 to 200 vendors. It's in this giant mega church parking lot.
I really enjoy it.
Yeah, they also have a lot of food trucks. They have some weird stuff too I don't see at other farmers markets. They had a guy selling like Ethiopian coffee or something, and he brews it like with a variety of spices, and then I think he does it on sand, which is traditional, where the water boils up to the spices. It was certainly tasty and interesting, but it's not something you see at a lot of other places, which are like, hey, here's some pottery I made. And I'm like, look, it's a farmer's market. Sell food.
Another thing that we suggest is going to First Fridays. Phoenix Art Museum started this tradition, and it's Phoenix Art Museum can be pricey if you don't have a membership. So they started this tradition where First Fridays of every month, they would have a free day and so or a free night, and so it's really great to just walk around and see all the new art exhibits that you wouldn't normally see because you don't want to pay an astronomical amount to get into a museum. But they also have around downtown Phoenix, they have all these different booths that they set up on First Fridays, and it's like a whole big event. There's different vendors, so you have jewelry, you have clothes, you have thrifting, you have books. You have all different types of experiences, all different types of people. You meet flat earthers. They decide that they're going to show up there. You meet all different types of people there, but it's a cool experience. I would say that it's very crowded just because it has become a bigger thing among the hippies. I really should stop saying that. So it's fun. I would say it's fun, but it's definitely something that you do with like a group of people. I would recommend. I wouldn't just have it like as a date.
Dates night.
Yeah. So like a double date or a friend date.
But I think these we've mentioned are some good opportunities to wander around and really talk with your significant other. I went to an art museum with Lauren recently in Scottsdale, and we were kind of giggling and pointing at a lot of the art on the walls because it didn't seem to either convey anything of significance nor require significant talent to create. I'll let her express her own reservations if she wants to, but yeah, it's a fun opportunity to bond with your partner. And if you disagree on stuff, that's interesting too. Being like, oh, I really like this piece, and you can have a conversation about what the aesthetics of art you enjoy are. I've gone back and forth with Lauren about a lot of her artistic tastes, and she's gone back and forth with me about mine. She likes saying that I enjoy collecting hotel wall art because I have a lot of landscape paintings around my house.
No,
I disagree.
It's not just hotel art. It's 80s hotel art.
Whoa. Oh, my God. I feel so attacked right now. I like to make fun of her because she has the aesthetic tastes of like an 80s grandma.
But it's cute. Like she just got a mug that was like Pigcasso. And it was just a bunch of little pigs that had paintbrushes. It was cute.
But no, it's a good opportunity to bond with your partner and, again, sort of dig into what makes them tick. One other outdoor thing, which I don't think made our list for some reason, is the Phoenix Zoo, which has animals, like most zoos do.
Our zoo has animals?
Yeah, it has manta rays and giraffes and rhinos that every time I attend have horrible diarrhea. I don't know why that keeps happening. The zoo is a great place to go. They typically do zoo lights at night. It's a seasonal thing, but typically happens, I think, twice a year. And for a couple weeks, you can just go walk around in the dark and see the animals and enjoy.
See what they do at night. Plus,
what they do at night.
Plus light features.
But no, I enjoy zoos. I think the Phoenix Zoo is good because they have wide open spaces. I think I've been to other zoos. They have much tighter enclosures, and the Phoenix Zoo is good about giving them room to run around and do stuff, which is fun. And then typically they'll do feedings and other tours you can follow along and watch. They also have these completely ridiculous scooters you can rent where you can like sit on what looks like a unicorn and drive around the zoo.
They have those at the mall.
Oh, golly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're lazy and just want to enjoy animals without having to walk around, that's a good opportunity.
Another thing that both Joel and I really enjoy doing is thrifting. We grew up thrifting. Our mom took us thrifting a lot. And so we enjoy doing that. Joel enjoys looking at 80s hotel art. And I enjoy the rush of finding something very unique from our
enjoy
wardrobe.
Partners who are fiscally responsible. I think reusing stuff is really important, but I also enjoy the like pleasure of finding something that is incredibly expensive.
Expensive or unique.
Yeah. There's a lot of interesting stuff that you find that I mean, maybe it's like a mass-produced thing, but you haven't seen it before and it looks cute. I bought Naomi a watermelon mug, which I greatly enjoy. The outside
It's
looks
very
exactly
cute.
like watermelon. Inside is painted pink with little seeds on it.
It's very cute.
But yeah, thrifting is great in the Phoenix area because there are so many thrift stores. There is an absurd number of thrift stores. It
And
is
all
so
different
easy.
kinds. It's not like just like the chains like Goodwill and Savers. They also have like small locally owned thrift stores. We, for instance, went thrifting in the Mesa thrifting district, like downtown Mesa. Joel and I did. What was that, last year? Mm-hmm. And we had a lot of fun just walking around downtown Mesa. I had no idea downtown Mesa looked like that. To me, downtown Mesa, when we were like little, it was a shit show. It was like going to AJ, basically. Like, it was just not a fun experience.
Whoa, the classism, Naomi.
Yeah, I know. And now it's
I'd
like
like to apologize to our viewers for Naomi's disregard for most of the Phoenix area.
yeah, basically. And so now you go to downtown Mesa and it's like really nice now.
Please go to downtown Mesa and give us some feedback about my conspiracy theory,
Okay.
which is someone got an insanely lucrative brass contract with the city because there is a brass statue of something every 15 to 20 feet.
Yeah.
There's young children playing. There's a postman. There's historical figures. There's big bears. There's pigs. There's traditional Native American art. There's a dinosaur near the Museum of Natural History.
There's also a white nationalist that runs a store in Mesa, downtown Mesa, and that was interesting to walk into.
We're not going to a store specifically for white nationalist stuff. It was the only one open. It was a military surplus store, and it was deeply uncomfortable.
Yep.
But yeah, a lot of fun. Vintage shops selling a variety of clothing, furniture, antiques. I would strongly recommend that area. But then in general, I think there are enough thrift stores you could plan an entire day around hitting up as many as you want.
It's not it's not that you can, it's that Joel has done it and really enjoyed it.
My record with Lauren is 10, and that was in the space of like 4.5 hours.
Jesus Christ.
There's so many, Naomi.
No, I know, but still, in 4.5 hours, that's really impressive.
Yeah, some
I
suggestions.
would need one of those little unicorn scooter thingies.
Some suggestions are the west side over near like Sun City. Unfortunately, old people die, and they have a lot of stuff they need to get rid of. So there's a lot of them clustered around in that area. We've been down through South Tempe, Chandler, Gilbert, and there's a lot you can knock out.
Joel really enjoys the White Dove thrift stores. He said that it's a totally different experience than going to a regular thrift store.
I don't know if I said that. It's similar things, but the prices seem a lot more reasonable at the White Dove chains, and so I appreciate that. But it's not just random thrift, Naomi. We enjoy specialized thrift, places like Bookman's and Zia Records.
Yes, we've been going to Bookman's for a really long time. We've also been going to Zia. I really enjoy Zia because Zia, like, you can walk in with your partner for a date idea and just walk around and get to know their music tastes a little bit better. I feel like now with the use of, like, Spotify and stuff instead of, like, cassettes, you don't really get to know like your partner's music taste as well, because they'll just put on like an artist on shuffle and you'll just listen to that in the car. Or just don't put me on aux, because I literally, my playlist, it goes from like emo to country like every other song, so it's kind of weird. But yeah, I really enjoy Zia just because it's a fun experience. They have like weird things. They sell cassettes still. They sell DVDs. They sell
Comics,
vinyls. They sell
fiction and nonfiction books.
Yeah, they sell vinyl, like record players. Literally everything that you can think of pertaining to like entertainment. They have some sort of secondhand there. They also have incense. So another thing that Joel really enjoys is the Thieves Market. It's a seasonal thing, but it's definitely very fun to go to.
It's an outdoor swap meet. Sometimes, you know, there's like cheap Chinese stuff, you know, that mass market someone bought a pallet of and was like, I'm going to try to resell this. But most of the stands, I would say, have a very large variety of vintage antique furniture, weird potpourri items like whole cases of Billy beer or old Coca-Colas, and then, you know, some cool like wood or antique treasures, whether that be, outdoor kitchen implements or ammunition or weapons or whatever. It's a whole potpourri of stuff. And if you're looking for a gift for someone who's impossible to shop for, you will get a lot of inspiration there.
Yeah.
My one regret is I saw a large brass statue of a dancing girl at one of the thieves' markets and feverishly pursued it for the longest time, trying to find that vendor again, because I was not carrying her amount of cash on me that day to purchase it at that time. And I finally saw the vendor again a couple of months ago, and I was like, hey man, this is a weird question, did you have it? And he's like, yeah, that was me, I just sold it last week for in California. And I was like, another thing I'll have to take to my grave.
Joel was so brokenhearted. Something that we went to recently within the last year was the Phoenix Park and Swap. Joel and I didn't really enjoy it, but it's definitely an experience. It's kind of like if the state fair met street vendors on the border of Mexico.
It was so the Phoenix Park and Swap is outside this large array of what I hope are solar panels. Otherwise, it's just a huge waste of stainless steel. It's kind of close to the airport. It's on, I think, either Washington or Jefferson Street, so it's very centralized in the valley.
It's one of those presidential streets.
Yeah. But it was very disappointing. Every single vendor is selling just cheap imported stuff at hugely inflated prices. There's very little that's unique or interesting.
Toiletries. There's a lot of toiletries.
Toilet paper and
Pantene, shampoo, conditioner, razors, tampons, things of that sort.
Yeah, there was very little that was unique or interesting, and it felt like you were being gouged at every turn.
Yeah.
We would not recommend it. I would recommend, this didn't make our restaurant list, really should have, in the area is a restaurant called Superstition Meadery.
Ooh, that is the place where you take your friend from out of town.
Should we get to that? Should we skip over to restaurants now?
Yeah, I think we should talk about restaurants.
So skip Phoenix Park and Swap. Do go to Superstition Meadery. Naomi, talk to me about Superstition Meadery and some great restaurants.
So Joel was actually the one that introduced me to Superstition Meadery. We were out running errands or something one day, and he was like, we have to go to this place. And at first I thought he said meatery, and I was like, Joel, you're vegan. You're practicing vegan. Why would you want to go to a meatery? I'll have a lot of fun, but you're just going to be sitting there. No, it's a meatery. It's very fun. You can
honey
get
wine,
samplers.
if you don't know what mead is.
Yes. You can get samplers of mead. You can get just, cups of mead. It's a very fun experience because their food is so delicious.
You had a soft shell crab sandwich.
Oh my God, it was so good. It was so good. And then what did you get? You got the beans in the bread.
I got some appetizer of beans. It was very good. Everything I've had there has been phenomenal.
We took our mother there last year for Mother's Day, and she really enjoyed it. She got a sampler of mead as well.
What's nice, too, is they do flights. So if you don't think you like mead, you've never had mead before, you can sample a wide variety at a lower price than what their normal pours of mead are. And, there's some truly phenomenal mead and cherry wine and cider that they're selling.
The great part is that the environment is really good as well. They have a really great aesthetic going on, as well as the energy is really good as well. Another thing, a few other restaurants that are notable that are on our list that we've really enjoyed. I really enjoyed Bitter and Twisted. It can get a little pricey, but the thing is that also another downside is that you only have a certain amount of time that you're allowed in the bar. I think it's 2 hours. I got kicked out. They're very, very, they put you on a timer and then it's all synced to the waiter's timer. So when the bouncer lets you in, checks your ID, lets you in, the timer starts as soon as you walk into the bar. So if you're wanting to have a longer date where you're not bothered as much, I wouldn't go here, but it's definitely an experience to have. I went in there recently with one of my friends, and she was like, I have to get the bathtub. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And so it was this drink. It's a seasonal drink. So they changed the drink. But it's served in a small little, it's like a Barbie bathtub. That's essentially the size of it. It comes with little rubber duckies. It's really cute. It's an experience. It's pricey, but the environment's cool. Another thing that I would personally recommend is Postino's. I wouldn't recommend it all year round. I would recommend going at night because they have a candlelit dinner that they do. They also, I recommend that because I prefer candlelit yummy snacks over sweating your face off yummy snacks.
Naomi hates LEDs.
Yeah. Someplace that
There's a couple locations.
Yeah, there are. And it's a female-owned business. So there's one in Gilbert. There's
You
one.
didn't give the name.
Oh, Postino's. Oh, crap.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's called Postino's. They have really good. I really enjoy
It's a
their
wine
bruschetta.
bar mostly known for like bruschettas, tapas. It's very much a snacking and getting casually.
Tapas. That was the bean dish.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think it was called frijoles something, but yeah, it was a tapas.
Another restaurant that I really enjoyed going to was Fellow, which I was taken to on a date, and it's an Italian restaurant. They will not bother you. Like, you'll be sitting there for a couple hours and they will not bother you, which is really nice. Joel, take it away. Give me some food recommendations.
So we did say Superstition Meadery, and I agree with you. That's a really strong pick for people
Yes.
who aren't in the area, don't know a lot about the area. I would say one that's maybe a little more authentically Southwestern in the sense, well, it's not even like cowboy food. It's very much rooted in like Phoenix as a place is the olive mill in Queen Creek, the Queen Creek Olive Mill. It's this large open expanse of olive trees, and they gather olives and they make olive oil and they sell it around the valley. But they also have an amazing outdoor dining area and this amazing selection of food and snacks inside. It is so good. I don't remember what we had last time, but everything we ate was great. They had the olive oil ice cream, which was really nice.
Yeah.
They had an olive oil cake, which was insanely moist.
I think I had either a sandwich or pizza, but I remember it being very good. Mm-hmm. And then we took like an olive class, like an olive oil class. I think it was called Olive Oil 101.
It teaches you all about olive oil and what you should be looking for. And
I should put that certificate on my resume.
You should. But once you have it, you'll be like, oh my God, all the olive oil I've been consuming my entire life has been rancid.
Yeah.
And that's a horrible revelation.
Yeah, it really is.
So yeah, I like that. It's a little bit of a drive because it is in Queen Creek. So I would suggest doing like a lunch date or something and then doing something else in the area.
Yeah. There are some things you can do in Queen Creek. It's not just residential. They've been really building it up. You could go to the orchard.
Oh, you go to Schneff Farms.
Yeah.
That's a seasonal thing, but yeah, Schneff Farms is not a huge farm, but it's out there in the southeast side of the Phoenix area. Every year they do vegetable and fruit picking. This year it's scheduled as usual. You can do peach picking. They have a wide variety of peaches. I think they have 8 different types of peaches that they're growing.
But the best part of the entire experience is you go out and you pay, I think, per pound, and you can eat as many peaches as you want while you're picking in the orchards, which is amazing.
I don't know if that's actually the case. I think Naomi just eats a bunch of peaches.
My record is 8, so
oh my God.
beat that. I was like 12 at the I was like 10 at the time.
Yeah, they do other vegetables too. So I guess if you're into cauliflower or whatever, that doesn't seem as appealing as fruit picking.
I was
that's
told
a fun thing
recently that you can actually rent out I think it's like an RV or something on the in Schneff Farms, and it's like a farm to table kind of thing. So you get fed 2 or 3 meals. Ooh. And you can stay overnight there. I was told, who was I told? I think it was my professor telling me that. She was very proud of this experience. She showed us her boyfriend's Facebook post about it. It's pretty cute.
A couple of other suggestions. Welcome Diner in Central Phoenix is really nice.
We both really enjoyed that.
It's like upscale diner food, a lot of really tasty things.
They
a lot
have
of
vegan
vegetarian
options.
And vegan options. And typically they have a weekly special, which is all phenomenal. Their drinks are amazing, and it's within walking distance to downtown if you want to go, to the Science Center or hit up, First Friday. Yeah. I think that would be a good combination of doing that and then walking down to Roosevelt and seeing
It's a very
Friday
chill
stuff.
vibe in the diner. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Another place I enjoy that does kind of diner food is Daily Dose. It's over in northeast Tempe near the mall. And Naomi isn't as big of a fan, but I find it to be the best diner food I've had for like, it's higher quality diner food than any place you've been to at the same prices as a normal diner. The service I've found has been really, really good too. And everyone who I've taken has really enjoyed it, except for Naomi.
See, okay, the thing is that I don't mind it. It's just not like something that it doesn't stand out to me. Like, I'm like, okay, that's just a restaurant I went to a couple times.
That's fair.
It's not like Superstition Meadery where I'm like, I have to go back.
Right. You're correct that it's not a landmark. It's someplace I'd take people for breakfast, but there are other places on the list. I'd be like, I'd probably.
So what Joel's saying is if he were to have a one-night stand and felt bad that they were hungry, he would take them out there.
I'd give him a granola bar and kick him out.
Granola bar and an aspirin, Joel. God.
Yeah.
Another place that Joel and I both really, Joel hasn't been here. Well, Joel, yeah, he has been. What am I saying? Joel and I both really enjoyed House of Tricks as well as Old Town Taste. Old Town Taste is more Szechuan Chinese, which we really enjoy.
House of Tricks is not at all Szechuan.
No, it's not. How would you describe House of Tricks?
It's like modern American cuisine. It's a lot
Okay.
of traditional things with kind of an upscale twist.
Yeah.
The one downside is I think they're closing this year. So if you're interested, go there soon.
It's more of an upper scale type of place.
It's an intimate setting.
Yeah.
It's very much meant to be like a fine dining place in the heart of downtown Tempe. I've had some great meals there. I've had some okay meals there. I would suggest them. I've had more good than bad, but again, you're gonna have to go pretty soon because they're closing within the year.
Another place that I really enjoyed was Harumi. I'm going to spell it for you because I'm probably butchering this. Harumi sushi. I went there yesterday with my boyfriend.
Hair Yummy.
Hair Yummy. Yeah, Hair Yummy. I went there yesterday with my boyfriend. So good. Great experience. We actually met someone in the restaurant and she was explaining that she was from San Francisco and she enjoyed this place better than some places that she's been to in San Francisco. So you can pair that with our next section, which is speakeasies. There's a lot of speakeasies downtown. Joel, do you mind if I skip ahead?
Sure.
I've been enjoying, since I turned 21, going to speakeasies. I consider it a bonding experience with my partner because it's either you're bonding over being extremely confused on where the speakeasy entrance is, or you just bicker and then you break up and then you're like, okay, this person isn't the person for me.
Inside of you, there are two wolves. The wolf that bickers over the entrance of a restaurant and the one that breaks up over that interaction.
Yeah. A couple of fun ones that me and my boyfriend have been to is Pigtails and Rough Rider. We went to Rough Rider yesterday. It's basically like a Teddy Roosevelt themed speakeasy. It's pretty cute. I really enjoyed it.
I suggested that the name of the restaurant or the name of the speakeasy should be Big Stick, and the name was like, that's only for a gay bar. And I'm like, that's true. A Teddy Roosevelt bar.
Yeah.
A lot of bears there, am I right?
Yeah. Pigtails, I really enjoy the experience every time I go there. I think I've been there 3 times now. I really enjoy going there just because their bartenders are really good with like making the experience better. So they are really into like interacting with their customers. A couple other ones that I've heard of is Melinda's Alley. My boyfriend keeps bothering me to go there. I think it's because he saw it on TikTok and he was like, we have to go. But it's always closed when we're downtown.
Nice.
It like opens at like 9 and closes at 1. It's very strange hours. I guess it is bar hours. Another one that I heard was a fun experience was Killer Whale Sex Club. I heard it's difference between... Yeah, I heard it's like the combination of a chill bar and a low key club, so it's like that meshed together.
Well, I first stumbled across this when I heard about this great new, I think it was a Filipino restaurant in North Tempe on Washington, and I went to their website, and their website was killerwhalesexclub.com, and I was like, that's a weird name for a restaurant. And it turns out it was loosely affiliated with this restaurant. Like, I think maybe they operated originally out of the back of this club.
Yeah.
And then they got their own independent location. But yeah, it's quite the name. Quite the vibe.
Would definitely say get a good, like, what I did yesterday, which was really fun, was we put our place in line because they don't do reservations at Harumi. And then we went to a bar. We went to Pigtails, which was walking distance from Harumi, and then got a drink there, and then came back when our table was ready, and then went to another one after. So, and you don't even have to drink. There's obviously other options at these speakeasies. You don't have to drink. You do have to be 21 to enter. Some of these places, not all. I think you can go. I don't know if you can go to Rough Rider if you're not 21, but. Interesting.
We only endorse people who are 21 consuming alcohol on this podcast.
Yes.
Not 22, 23, 25.
Yeah, just 21. Some coffee shops that Joel and I really enjoy, which I've been on some pretty fun dates. I've been on one fun date. That was a coffee date. I went to King Coffee on Mill, and then we went thrifting. King Coffee on Mill, it's pretty new. It's pretty small. It's locally owned business. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't anything special, but it was just like the environment, the fact that it was locally owned. Cartel Coffee, also great
Downtown
experience.
Tempe.
Yeah.
Cartel, I don't know if this is still true. Naomi, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
We don't know anybody at Cartel, so we can't speak until.
No, hush hush.
But it used to be back in the day, they owned this specialized coffee roasting machine. There are only like 6 in existence.
They still own it.
And Starbucks owned 5 of them, and they purchased the 6. And then Starbucks purchased the patent, and no one else on earth can buy them. So they have this really elaborate machine, but they also have just really high quality coffee beans.
Because they get rid of, so the thing is that they don't serve beans that are 2 weeks or older. So they have constant turnover, but it's really good because you know that you're always getting fresh, a fresh product. So we've always really enjoyed Cartel. We've been going there probably since they opened.
Yeah. And you can walk around through downtown Tempe. There's a lot of other things you can do in the area as well. We used to go to the Ash Avenue Comics if you're a huge nerd.
Yes.
It's a cute little locally owned comic shop.
There's a Buffalo Exchange that's right around in the same complex as Cartel Coffee as well.
A lot of not horribly priced outfits if you're looking for clothing.
Definitely unique items.
Yeah, there's a place called Tempe's Farmers Market across the railroad tracks there. It's within like 2 blocks. It's not a farmer's market. It's just a
health
shop
food
that
store.
sells
stuff.
But support them, not the Whole Foods that went in across the street, somewhat sarcastically. And then it's within walking distance. You go to Cartel of Snakes and Lattes, which is a game restaurant. I don't know really how to define it. You can get appetizers and alcoholic drinks and coffee, or even just sit down and study. But they also have this huge selection of several hundred board games. And they have these like Apple genius bar techs on staff whose sole job is to make recommendations to you about games you'd enjoy. Yeah. So if you're with 2 people, they can come up with a bunch of 2-player games. If you're looking for a strategy game, if you're looking for something lighthearted, you're with a group of people, they can come up with really good recommendations.
If I worked there, people would be like, what do you recommend? I'd be like, Uno, every single time.
Oh, that'd be a good bit.
Yeah.
What's a good advanced game? Uno. Okay, what's a good 4-player game? Uno.
So I work with kids, and recently I found out that everybody plays Uno differently than I play Uno. When you get to the last card of Uno, you say Uno and you win. No, these kids play until you have no more cards left.
That's what Uno means, 0 in Spanish.
That's what I'm saying. I met like 4 different families that play Uno like that.
Other coffee shops, Coronado Coffee and Dark Hall Coffee are both vegan places. They have a wide variety of vegan pastries. Coronado is in downtown Phoenix. It's more of a sit down and study vibe, but I had a really good meal there. I really enjoyed their general aesthetic. Dark Hall I've been to 2 or 3 times now, and they have some very unique drinks, like, lavender lattes or whatnot, things you wouldn't find in a normal place, that all taste pretty good. I think you're mostly going for the aesthetic because it's like angry goth vibes. But yeah, I think it's worth supporting businesses like that.
Yeah, we're going through this list and we were talking about different coffee shops that we know and are big around Phoenix, and we would not recommend Black Rock over Dutch Bros. If we were to recommend one over the other, it'd definitely be Black Rock though. Over Dutch Bros. Dutch Bros, if you're going on a date, it's something that you go and pick up on the way to a date. It's not something that you go to as a destination, just because there is no place to sit. Like you could go and get Dutch and then just like sit in your car, but it's hot like the vast majority of the year. There's no way that you can like, it's fine.
It's also a momentum killer for dates because you're going to wait so long. Every Dutch Brothers I know, there's like a 20-minute wait either in front of the building
minimum
or in the line.
Yeah.
So I would suggest Black Rock. It's definitely focused more on speed. That said, their coffee is just too overpriced, right? If you're going to go and study or sit down. It's
Dutch Bros prices with like Dunkin' quality.
I wouldn't go that far, but you're right. It's not as good as other coffee shops in the area. One last one that I'd recommend is part bar, part coffee shop, part bookstore is First Draft Book Bar in downtown Phoenix. I've been there once, really enjoyed it. They have it's maybe like a 10th or a 5th the size of a Barnes and Noble, but they have a wide variety of interesting books on a variety of topics, plenty of like recommendations from their staff, and there's a bar in the middle of it so you can like take a drink and browse through stuff too. And that's kind of the vibe I enjoy of like getting drunk, which means I'll probably spend more on books. But yeah, if you enjoy books, if you enjoy reading, if you enjoy like media in general, I thought they had a really fun aesthetic. And again, it's a good opportunity to sort of get into the mind of the person you're dating and see what they are interested in, what they're drawn to.
Yeah, browse a bookstore with your partner. See what they're all about. I feel like buying books with someone really tells like what their interests are. A few like seasonal items that we have.
Buy a sectional with your partner.
Yeah, really just commit to the relationship when you buy a couch. A few seasonal items, a pumpkin patch. We have some fun ones, mainly just in Gilbert though. Scary Halloween mazes or haunted houses. There's a lot in Phoenix around
Glendale, Phoenix, yeah.
Yeah, around Halloween time. 13th floor, I think some of that. But you do have to sign a waiver before you go in.
If I pee my pants, it's my fault.
I wouldn't necessarily say like haunted houses are like a date idea, like maybe like part of a date. Why? Like you can't talk to your partner. Maybe that is why you go on a date.
No, it's I don't know. I think it's important to bond with your partner in all variety of activities and stressful situations are enjoyable.
I'm a scaredy cat. Like
I went with my last roommates to one in Glendale, and it was very cheesy, and I enjoyed how like over the top and dramatic. It was like a Sam Raimi film, but in like a physical location. It was over the top and dramatic, and it was not at all scary, and I enjoyed that. I think it's fun to bond over. You can giggle at some of the ridiculous things they come up with. Or, Naomi, they do say that if you're in adrenaline-filled situations with someone, it's a great bonding opportunity.
Why don't you just have a fight with your partner about something stupid?
Not a great bonding opportunity.
No, but that's an adrenaline rush. Also, Tempe Festival for the Arts.
Twice a year? I think it happens 3 times a year?
Yeah.
Twice a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in downtown Tempe. It's a big outdoor festival with a variety of vendors.
Bring sunscreen.
Unlike a lot of other festivals, you can A, get to it via light rail, which is convenient.
Yeah.
B, there's a lot of restaurants around it, so even if you don't want to eat anything there, there's plenty of things to consume. But C, a lot of their art's actually kind of reasonably priced. Our parents were describing going to an art festival in Scottsdale where like the cheapest
It was the Scottsdale Art Walk.
It was? Okay.
Yeah. And they were just describing everything as something that it's like a charity auction where everything's like already overpriced because they're trying to like obviously raise money for charity.
And the charity is rich people.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other thing about the Festival of the Arts, it's not just art. And even if it was, there's a crazy amount of different types of arts ranging from, textiles to canvas prints to photography to sculptures. There's also a lot of food too. So, if you want to get specialty hot sauces, or there's a mixed drink mixer company that does like a variety of high quality mixers I've purchased from before. That's really fun. Again, if you're looking for like a gift for that person who's impossible to shop for, going with your partner is fun, but also laughing with your partner about some of the ridiculous things that they're
and the ridiculous prices.
Yeah.
Something that Joel would like to say is that he's not the biggest fan of Tempe festivals.
There are a lot of quote-unquote festivals that take place at Tempe Town Lake in the beach park nearby. Mostly music festivals. They do a couple of other ones, but I've been to like the Oktoberfest. I've been to 2 music festivals down there. Everything's overpriced. If it's taking place on the beach park, you are being gouged. And I know that kind of comes with the festival material, but it's also not like enjoyable stuff. Like you're not being gouged for like things that are actually tasty. It's like the lowest quality food at the highest quality prices.
Because it's all about like where you are and what you're doing. Like it's not, they don't do it and they're like, oh, well, this is quality food, so we're going to serve it here. It's like, okay, well, people are going to be hungry at this festival, so let's go bring our really shitty pretzels to them.
Yeah, but also I feel every event is oversold, so you're going to be waiting in a line for like 2 hours to get food that's the lowest quality food at the highest quality price. It's not a great mishmash of things.
Another thing that we kind of grew up going to was the Ostrich Festival in Chandler. It happens in March, so around spring break time. So it's 2 weekends in March. It's an experience. It's kind of like a smaller version of the state fair, but there's like a petting zoo and there's ostriches there.
Yeah, there's rides and attractions, but then there's also like ostrich themed things, and you can buy ostrich eggs and see ostriches fight and joust. And no, that doesn't happen.
State fair, Renaissance Festival. We've kind of gone over this, and zoo lights.
Let's not undercount the state fair. State fair is very cheesy.
I've never been.
Never been?
Never been.
I went once when I was much younger. A lot of like traditional fair attractions, Ferris wheels, roller coasters, little haunted houses, things like that. A lot
fried
of
food.
Horrifying fried food. If you want butter on a stick, that's where you go.
I want it.
They also have an amazing book sale that happens there once a year in February. Like we're talking tens of thousands of books at bargain basement prices. So I would suggest checking it out even when the fair is not in town. But the Renaissance Festival, as we briefly touched upon earlier, takes place on the east side of Phoenix in the first couple of months of each year when, coronavirus hasn't devastated the nation. It is a large outdoor space that's been heavily built upon over the years. It looks kind of like a medieval village that you walk through, but there's a variety of attractions. Your admission price gets you the ability to see, a crazy amount of shows and comedy and, music and I think jousting too. But then you can also purchase other things like, medieval outfits and turkey legs and giant pickles and
pickles.
Opportunity to dine with the king and queen and chainmail and, other attractions like haunted houses.
Speaking of Renaissance time, an event theme date. Medieval times. It's basically just like you get an event pass, you go in, it's this giant jousting stadium. You can dress up, you can dress down, but it's a medieval themed dinner. So you get served, I don't know how many courses, and you get to watch a jousting
roasted
match.
Chicken and a roll and corn and other things.
Another thing, I don't know. I've never been to Dave & Buster's. I've heard it's fun. Joel, do you have any comment on that?
I've been to Dave & Buster's. I've been to Main Event. It's, arcades. You're going to, spend a pretty penny. Maybe this is something you talk about in advance. Be like, hey, do you want to come here a couple of times? Because you definitely spend less money if you purchase tickets or points or however they measure it in advance. If your partner's a huge nerd, they might enjoy it. There's typically a wide variety of games, whether they're, arcade shoot-'em-ups or racing games or those ones where you're trying to get coins out of the tower that keeps moving them down. I don't think you're going to be going there for the high-quality rubber bands or racer prizes if they still even offer those. I think it is more of an opportunity to just sample a wide variety of games.
And get drunk!
There's a bar in downtown Gilbert that apparently has a lot of arcade machines, but it's like 15 arcade machines. It's like Donkey Kong and Tetris.
There's one like that in Phoenix, and I wasn't too impressed by it because it's like a club / arcade / restaurant. It's right near, it's like shares the same building as, what is that? The Van Buren.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's like Zips. It's like a speakeasy in front of Zips Pizza, and you walk through, and it's an experience.
I'm trying to remember the name. It's like Game Zone or something on Broadway and Hardy in Tempe. It is actually an arcade. They sell used games, but then there's also a wide variety of arcade cabinets. You can pay by the hour, and you have unlimited play on all of them.
Interesting.
It's a decent selection, and then you can also show up for game night and play D&D or whatever. But if your significant other is interested in that sort of thing, I think that would be a good place to stop by.
Have you been to an escape room, Joel?
I have.
Okay.
And this is my tip for people who are interested in either escape rooms or axe throwing or the Arizona Science Center, which is a fun thing to do with your SO. Go on Groupon. I will recommend Groupon for so few things, but typically there's at least one coupon for escape rooms good for 20 to 50% off. Depends on the time of year. Your selection will vary, but escape rooms are constantly trying to get people in through the doors. You do not need to pay the absurd prices they advertise up front. Escape rooms are good to do with your significant other. I would suggest doing it with a group of people, though. It's a good opportunity to bond over stress and use critical thinking skills and have fun in that regard.
So you do like a group date?
Yeah, there's some in Tempe, there's some in Phoenix, there's themed ones. I'd check it out online because there's mad scientists layers and there's locked jail cells and there's exploring a spooky old attic and other fun things. Last one I did was in Tempe. We did a whole bar day in downtown Tempe. We ate lunch. We went to the escape room. We then went to, Naomi, I always forget it. What's that slushy place called? Fat Tuesdays. We had frozen slushies. We went to another bar. It just was non-eating, day drinking.
So I've been to Mill recently a lot on a Friday, Saturday night, and there's always the longest line in front of Fat Tuesdays.
It's a good place.
Not the clubs. It's Fat Tuesdays. Also, they opened a barbecue place, a mesquite barbecue place right next to Low Key.
Incredible.
Yeah. So you'll walk at a Low Key and you'll smell barbecue and you're like, that sounds amazing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So escape rooms are good. Get them on discount. That's important. Axe throwing. I have not been axe throwing, but I have done something else. Naomi, do you know what I'm talking about?
Rage Room.
Rage Room. This is something that I think is unique to Tempe. I haven't seen anywhere else.
No, they have them other places.
Okay.
Len went to one with his family in San Diego.
No. I mean this specific company. I think it's only in the Tempe
okay.
part of Arizona. Yeah, they are a room you get to go in either by yourself or with a partner or with multiple people, and they give you a wide variety of objects to just smash up. Get a baseball bat, get a tennis racket, bring in your golf clubs to destroy with. But you have, I think it's like 30 minutes to destroy a bunch of old electronics that are, not usable in the slightest, old cutlery, old dishware, things like that. You can throw them like frisbees. You can bring in your own stuff and do what you want to this room. But it is a great way of getting your yayas out, getting your aggression
Getting
out.
your yayas
For a slightly higher fee, they'll record it and give you the recording.
Why would you want a recording of that?
They do like slow-mo too, if you want to get like a slow-mo shot of you shattering, I don't know, your great-grandpa's urn if he was a big dick. I don't know.
He must have been the biggest dick.
My only recommendation would be if you're going to go to the rage room with your significant other, wear masks. When I did go the first time with my friend Noah, we inhaled, I think, a lot of glass.
Ew.
And I had like a horrible cough for a while. That is the one downside. So wear a mask of some kind. Make sure you can filter that out. But other than that, yes, I would strongly recommend a rage room. It's a good way of, if you and your partner are going through an emotionally tumultuous time, for factors outside of your control, like say the federal government's decided to ban abortion. Maybe it's time to go relieve some anxiety. Unfortunately, it is cheaper than therapy.
Joel, what is our contribution to society from our podcast after the recent announcement about Roe v. Wade?
This is how you want to end our episode?
Yep.
Damn. Naomi, you've just breathlessly brought us through this podcast, and what a downer ending. I should mention that as of the month of April, I don't know when we're going to be dropping this one, we are donating.
May.
I was assuming we'd do April's contributions.
Oh.
As of the month of April,
that's what I didn't. That's what you're saying.
Our financial analyst Naomi says, we will be donating all of our Patreon donations to important charities supporting abortion and trans rights. And there's a lot going on, and it's going to be difficult coming up with enough money to support all of them. But yes, if you donate to our Patreon, you not only get access to exclusive content, you also will get to know that you're supporting important charities. We will let people know what those charities are as soon as we've identified them, but it also could be that we're just rotating through a bunch because there's just so many causes to support. But yes, you can donate to our Patreon. You can feel good about yourself. We'll send you exclusive merch and let you see exclusive behind-the-scenes stuff. And you also get to do a good $5 a month at minimum. Will help the world in ways you cannot even imagine.
As payment for your Patreon subscription, we will be providing exclusive content relating to dates. So we will be providing a Google Maps version of different places in your area or the greater Phoenix area where you can explore restaurants, activities. They will all be labeled as such.
We'll provide some notes if we have specific comments. This will all be stuff we have personal experiences with, not just random places we've heard are good.
Yes. We would only like to recommend, I feel like I'm a content creator now. I only recommend products that I really enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, they're like a male influencer, and they're like, I'm recommending Lolo Lestrin birth control or something. I've seen that recently, actually. So
you know what helps me with my menstrual pains?
So we are going to be recommending places that we really enjoy going to, or we've been with our significant other and enjoyed our date there. So, I would like to say that is the most positive note we can end our episode off on, because there's a lot of tension in this country right now.
I mean, that's completely unique to this period of time in America. That's never before happened.
I feel like as a woman, you can't comment, so shut up.
That's fair. As a white male for too long, I think that's a good place to end. If you have recommendations of great date ideas, great places to bring your significant other, please let us know. We may drop a description and or photo of that place in our Instagram feed. As we come across new places, we will do the same. There's a lot going on in both Phoenix and probably in your area if you're not in Arizona. And we think it's good to enjoy things. In dark times, it's important to have a respite from all of it. Respite. I know words. Please don't consider given up on the world, definitely continue doing things with your person you care about. Make sure that you're out and about and enjoying the world for as long as you can.
Yeah, because women might be made into handmaids soon, so that's fun. On to brighter days. Have a great week. Wear a condom. Don't drink too much coffee, and
Wear sunscreen.
Wear sunscreen.
Bye. If you're looking to make an impact, this show recommends giving either time or money to Planned Parenthood, a nonprofit organization that provides reproductive health care in the United States and globally. Planned Parenthood clinics and affiliates provide birth control and long-acting reversible contraception, clinical breast examinations, cervical cancer screenings, pregnancy testing, prenatal care, testing and treatment for sexually transmitted infections, and abortions. Planned Parenthood also does great work for those who can't afford traditional medical services. Approximately 4 out of 5 of their clients have incomes at or below 150% of the federal poverty level. Both Joel and Naomi are monthly donors to Planned Parenthood. You could be too.